I'm digging through the mailbag and answering your questions, so please stick around. Hi, I'm Michael, KB9VBR, your host for Ham Radio Q&A. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time watching and you enjoy entertaining and informative amateur radio videos, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell to be notified when future videos are released. Well, I've collected another big batch of viewer mail. Thanks for sending those questions and comments. So, for the benefit of everyone, I'm going to go through and pull out a few great questions and do a little bit of follow-up. On my video on MURS, or the Multi-Use Radio Service, I've received a whole bunch of questions and comments and opinions and whatnot, but I'm going to highlight a few of them here. So, a couple of commenters mentioned that GMRS and FRS rules have changed slightly in the past year, allowing up to 2 watts of transmit power on unlicensed on 8 shared GMRS and FRS channels. So, you can run a bit more power than the 500 milliwatts that I originally stated in the video on 8 FRS channels. With the change of this, I got a feeling that the FCC was acknowledging that there's quite a bit of unlicensed use of the GMRS band out there by FRS users. So they made a power change consideration to bring the regulation in line with the reality that there's quite a bit of blister pack high-powered FRS radios on the market. So, well, at least that's my opinion. And another question on this video, or on the MURS videos, have to do with ERP, or effective radiated power. The commenter writes, I was trying to find out what the max ERP was that's allowed for MURS, and I can't find it. It's pretty much anything goes. If the antenna, say, has a gain of 12 dBi, I can still run a 2 full watts from the transmitter? Well, to my knowledge, there's no limit to ERP, or effective radiated power, for the MURS, or the Multi-Use Radio Service. The rules specify 2 watts transmit output power and an antenna height of 60 feet or no more than 20 feet above a building. So you could use a high gain antenna to extend the range, but with a 60-foot antenna height, you're still going to hit a limit to the total distance you can achieve using the MURS radio service. A couple other comments gave some suggested uses of MURS channels. Some ideas for those would be like for search and rescue teams, use them over at amusement parks, and out camping. In fact, camping is one of my favorite uses for the radios, and I like handing out radios, the MURS radios, to the kids or other people and have them go off and do their own things, and they're still in touch with the base camp. It's great for areas especially where there's no cell phone coverage. Yeah, in the video, HF transceiver functions and controls, I received this question. I'm a new ham as of last November, and believe it or not, I still have not acquired my first rig. The IC718 is a top contender though, thus my great interest in your video. I'm also considering the Yaesu 817ND. Which would you recommend as a first? Well, I'm going to make a more detailed video on this subject. And your question is on the best first HF radio is a frequent one that I receive. So stay tuned for that video. But briefly, for a first rig, I'd recommend something that's easy to use and has 100 watts of transmit power. The Yaesu FT817 is a great rig, but it only has 5 watts output. So QRP can be quite challenging, especially if as the solar cycle reaches its minimum. If you want to do QRP, that's great. You can take your full power rig, 100 watt rig, and turn it down to 5 watts and run that QRP. But you know, for the most part, 100 watts I think is what you should look for in your first radio. The best choice for you depends on what you're interested in and what your budget is. So if it's backpack or portable operation, you know, look at the Yaesu FT891. If you want something that's going to sit in the shack, then the ICOM IC718 or Yaesu FT450 or even the Kenwood TS480 are great choices. Well, if we step up on the budget ladder, the ICOM IC7100, the IC7300, and the FT1200 by Yaesu are also excellent choices. And And one advantage of those is they have built-in digital features, so you don't need. So if you want to do digital radio, you don't need an interface like the Signal Link. Now, I haven't even scratched the surface yet on new versus used radios as your first rig. So stay tuned for that video to come out, and we can really dig into that subject. But speaking of used gear, in buying used amateur radio gear, I received this comment. I've been seeing gear come up on the Goodwill website. Unfortunately, other people are seeing it too. Yes, more and more gear is ending up on Goodwill, both in their stores and on their website. I haven't seen any in my local store yet, but that's another. But thrift stores is another good place to be on the lookout for used amateur radio equipment. Just be advised that with thrift store shopping, everything there is going to be as is, so you do take a bit of a chance. If you're not technical savvy or have the expertise to repair your own equipment, you might be out of luck with something. But I did a little searching around, and on the Goodwill website saw there was a couple rigs on there at the last time I looked, but there was also a lot of vintage and old table radios that I found quite interesting. So check it out yourself. Head on over to shopgoodwill.com. And thank you for everyone that commented with their amateur radio upgrade stories in my Why You Should Upgrade Your Amateur Radio License series. I loved reading them, and every story was as unique as the person that left it. So thanks for sharing them. I hope they serve as a motivation for future hams to upgrade their license. And before we close out, I want to give a quick shout out to the Space Weather Woman. She's my featured YouTube channel of the month. If you haven't subscribed to Tamitha Skav's Space Weather channel yet, a Space Weather Woman channel yet, please stop what you're doing and go over there and do it now. Also check out our Facebook page. Her videos come out about once every 2 weeks and have an informative mix of solar conditions and forecasts. So, if you're into amateur radio, want to know why your GPS isn't working, looking for aurora conditions, it's the place to go to. It's like watching the 10 o'clock news, but it's all about the weather on the 10 o'clock news, but it's all about the sun. Popular Science also in the January-February issue had a great article about her, Tamitha Skav. So this should still be on the newsstands until about mid-February, but you may want to check it out. Go to your local library or the Popular Science website to read more about the Space Weather Woman. Well, that's it for another month. Keep those questions coming. I received over 75 questions and comments since our last channel update. So thanks for your participation and support. And also, if you like this video, as always, give me that big thumbs up. I really enjoy that. And don't forget to check out my blog at www.jpol-antenna.com for more articles and videos. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Over 300 subscribers since the last channel update. I can't really name them all off by name, but I really appreciate your subscribing and your support and your continued watching. So it makes me feel good that I'm helping people out. You too can subscribe by clicking on the little button below me now, and also check out this video that pops up right alongside me. You might find it interesting. Well, that's it for another month. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'm Michael, KB9VBR 73.